Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Okay, I think you can all hear me. That is great. And we had around 3-4 minutes of technical glitch. Sorry for that. Anyhow, I am Chandra Sekhar. I am part of the DBS family. I'm working as part of the consumer finance business and also the technology. I am part of the DBS DAH2, and here we are able to discuss about what we do in DBS and how actually we enable the technology of the tomorrow, of future, and where we actually head as part of the DBS bank. So, going with respect to the presentation, is the presentation available? Can someone confirm from the backend? Okay, so I can see the presentation for myself. I hope all of you can see the presentation. So let me go to the next page with respect to what are we with respect to the DBS at Asia Hub 2. We started in 2016 as the first technology development center outside Singapore in Hyderabad. We had around 400 people as the headcount, and then in 2017 we have celebrated ourselves at the completion of 1 year, and in 2018 we increased the strength of permanents to 1,000. I think that is the time I'm part of the 1,000 people when I joined in DBS, and then in 2019, we actually started increasing the space and we wanted to add more number of people. We are adding value to the bank and also we are taking pride to be part of the DBS family. So we increased in 2019, then we went on increasing in 2020. We are now 2,500 people approximately. And these are all the permanent staff, what I'm talking about. And then we have various partners in order to support our journey and the technical aspect of it. Now, as an organization, when we are going, there will be certain particular things which we have to really understand and also appreciate the way in which we build our particular mission and vision. We want to be a technology center, not just the bank, not just supporting some of the aspects of banking as such. We want to be really delivering the next generation technology and software to the business platforms as part of our client's journey. We want to have that particular vision of world-class engineering team while providing the products to our through our software to our business. How can we do this? How can we achieve it? Who should be our neighbors with whom we have to really work with and really aspire to be and really try to be someone whom we see ourselves to? So that is where we have come up with respect to this particular agenda called as Gandalf. I don't have to tell much about Gandalf. We all know what the character is. But what we have put that acronym is as the Google, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Now, these are the things which we are looking at. But what are we? We are part of that particular family of being the DBS. How are we part of the family and what we do in order to achieve these kind of things is something which is part of our entire culture, entire value system, and entirely depending upon our ambition to be the pioneers of the technology. We want to be the fintechs. We want to be the kind of aspiration which we have to really create to our customers, not just by just being a bank, but also being a kind of a technology and tech savvy aspiring system which we create with respect to that. So in 2018, when I joined in this particular place, I just was thinking, what will I learn from this? And I want to really concise that with respect to this slide as what I learned. So let us look at the two equations, z is equal to x cube plus y to the power of 4 and p is equal to x cube y to the power of 4. Now, why am I bringing this particular thing is that I understand that women in technology is actually looking at the STEM-based education and STEM-based engagement with respect to various aspects. So I thought I will have some mathematics session in this particular discussion. So when we do a derivative of it, what is a derivative and why should I do a derivative? Basically, it is the rate of change at which we are actually making anything to happen. Now, in that, what I really understood is if we are doing a derivative of the first equation, one of that will become a constant and it will just get eradicated. So consider that my strategy is to do a change or a transformation which I want to really bring in with respect to the X. And X here is the domain. Domain means for me it is the business of doing banking. Okay, when I do that particular thing, what is going to happen is that y to the power of 4, which is very powerful, it is much, much bigger than the X, let us take. And this y, being the technology, is just getting evaporated. It just becomes constant. Now, what is that particular problem then? That means if we are looking at only doing a transformation, let us take the other side of it. Only we are trying to transform our technology by saying that, hey, we will do something with respect to going out of the legacy systems and do something on the new technology and then keep the business as is. Then again, the business will get evaporated with respect to, we are not just only doing the technology changes, but the business is not really getting into the change. So that is the major thing which we have to really look at. So when we see the second equation, P is equal to x cube y to the power of 4, you see that y to the power of 4 will remain constant and it will not get changed. But x cube is actually getting the change when I am doing a derivative of it. And similarly, it is the y to the power of 4 which is getting changed, but my business is actually being there. So that means what we have to really understand is when we are changing our derivatives with respect to, that means the rate at which I am changing my business, I must really make sure that my technology is also integrated. It is not just an addition of business and technology. It is business together with technology. This is what is the actual aspiration at which we all work at DBS. We want to understand what the business is actually changing through and how the technology can amalgamate and bring that particular voice together of making the change to be much more synergic and much more synchronized. That is what is the thing which will actually make the change of being as part of the DBS. Now, if we see that the transformation journey which we actually have to go through is the various catalysts are there. First of all, we have to understand the customer. If we understand the customer journey, that is the previously, if you see the way in which the banks were doing the digital way of approach is more to do with respect to moving away from the paperless or otherwise keep the processes the same. Consider that I want to really do something with respect to changing the backend system, which is currently working on a ledger-based system where we have to make the manual entries. From there, I have to come into the next one, just reproduce the same thing in the computer and then make sure that the entries and other things are happening in the same way. But it is not what actually the customer is looking at. I still remember the days when I used to go with my mother to the banks, and then we used to stand in the queue and try to get our money withdrawn, and or otherwise deposit, or otherwise do an FD. And sometimes we have to sit with respect to branch manager and get some particular products being explained, and then we take that particular kind of service which is really required. Applying for home loan is such a complicated one. Personal loans, we don't even know whether they existed or not in those days. But if you see today, it is a very, very, very interactive and very much with respect to amalgamated with respect to our services and also our day-to-day life. And the payments and other things are becoming much more easier and much more energetic in order to make our particular lives easy. And that's where DBS actually says that bank less and live more. So with respect to all these particular aspirations, we need to really understand our customer journey. And our customer journey, once we understand, and we also try to reproduce that kind of a customer journey in our applications, we understand where actually we can innovate. How many times the customer has to really click on a particular screen in order to do an operation? How many times the customer has to really provide the same information in order to get a product? How do I actually sensitize the customer, their journey, their particular approach? And that's where our innovation is actually into this particular service. And then comes the digital world. How do we embrace to the digital world? Now I understand the customer. I understand that there is innovation which I can put it. Now I have to understand how do I really put it into the digital world. Am I enabling my mobile application, or otherwise am I doing with something else? How do I make this customer journey more enriched with respect to the digital aspiration which we have? Then comes, how do I operationally excel with respect to whatever I'm doing? So I have provided all that particular things done. Is it really the customer, is it really going to get that particular enhanced operational excellence? And also internally, my employees, my operations team, my technology team, my support team, everybody, are they really getting that kind of an operational excellence which I have created through this journey? For us, the customer is one part of it, employee is also an integral part of it. And we need to really ensure that they get the right kind of a boost in the operational when they are actually serving the customer, and whether directly or indirectly. Then we have this particular engineering aspiration. We talk about the reliability which we have to really produce with respect to our systems, and also the engineering helps with respect to that in a much more aggressive way. We have to be cloud enabled. We need to be really getting into the aspiration of working with respect to the latest trends of the technology, latest applications, latest in-house capability to build with respect to the engineering teams. That's where we actually shape our particular world-class engineering team. And then comes with respect to the great place to work. When we have all these particular things in place, then we will be actually having the time in order to spend with respect to our people, their aspiration, their way of approach with respect to a problem. How do we create the kind of a culture of sharing information as well as working together as a collaborative team across geographies? Going to the next one is our digital transformation model. So we have understood that what is our culture, what is the value system, with what aspiration we try to work with respect to the overall transformation, keeping the customer, employees, as well as our goal of making the place to be the better place. So our aspiration, technology, digital transformation model is acquire, transact, and engage. The three aspects of it is, the first one is to look at the customer acquisition with a wider distribution. We need to actually understand how do we acquire customers, how do we increase our footprint with respect to either with respect to our products or our services, or with respect to our kind of acknowledging the service which we are providing to the customer. So we need to be really good with our services and also our products which can reach to the customer. So that is where our acquisition cost will be reduced. Eliminate paper, create instant fulfillment. That is where, again, how do I transact? Now I got to know who are my customers. I am actually targeting my customers in order to be part of my organization's journey. Once I start talking to them, I need to really ensure that they can enjoy the transaction with what they are making with us. That is where the decrease of cost will actually come into picture. When we have this particular agenda, when we go to the previous slide, the digital world and also the innovation are really covered. When operations are also being taken care here, we will get a better benefit when we are doing the decrease of cost. Then we need to really engage our customer. Okay, I have onboarded the customer into my particular bank. Now, how do I actually engage the customer? Provide righteous information, continuous information to the customer, which is relevant to them. What are the products which we are offering? What kind of services they can actually opt for? And also, how do I do a cross-sell with respect to the new products, depending on their understanding of our products, and also we understand about their needs. That is where the increase of income per customer will go through the. So by doing the right thing to the customer, we get the right benefit from the customer. Okay, this actually is the one which we have to really look at when we are doing the pipes of transformation through APIs and our blockchain. We have a lot of insight with respect to the data from the customer, what we understand and how we actually will build on the customer insights. Going to the next one is the DBS data transformation and building culture and the capability. When we do all these things, our employee workforce as well as various other aspects of our product cycle, as well as our application cycle, and also with respect to various platforms which we use, everything should be enabled. So we need to build that kind of a culture and capability. We are the ones who actually have a kind of a competitions with various things. Okay, recently we conducted a competition that our people mostly should be completing with respect to cloud certification. We also have certain kind of things where we share weekly or fortnightly a lot of information about what are the technology trends which are coming up. We do have events such as DEN, which is called as DBS Engineers Network, where we actually connect with respect to other organizations and share the best practices across. We also have various training sessions which are conducted continuously in order to improve our improvise our particular ability and the capabilities in order to deliver better kind of services and also an engineering capability. We enable usage of data. There's so much of data which is present either in the structured or unstructured way. What we have to do is that we need to really have that kind of a mindset in order to understand how do we take this data to the next level and bring in some kind of a changes which we have to really require in our thought process to utilize this data to the maximum possible extent for the benefit of our customer. We need to understand the customer dynamics. We need to understand our customer in a better way, in a frictionless way. We need to make sure that this kind of a transformation happens in our understanding the data. We also look at build fit and purpose to the data platforms. So consider that we have various data points from different applications, different verticals of business. Let us take a core banking versus consumer finance versus wealth versus insurance. There are a lot of verticals in the banking. How do I understand the customer from the best fit of the purpose of the data? How do I amalgamate together in order to make sense from the particular data? These are the things which we actually work on regular basis. Going to the next one. So after doing all these things, we have to really look at the products what we create and then provide to our customers. We have in India, we have a tie-up with Big Basket, and we contextualize the offers via the co-branded debit card. So how do we really look at these kind of features and facilities is something which we work with respect to various businesses. Today, if you see, banking is not about an individual vertical doing its own job. It is not just about, a couple of days back, I was listening to some video where it was referred that Bill Gates once told that the banking will not be existing in few years' time. But actually, in one way, he may be right, and another way, he may not be. The statement is too oversight. If you see the way in which the banking is being used, it may be the banks which we have to really look at what actually they are doing. Today, we are not just only providing financial services of saving money and saving some documents in the locker. We are actually contextualizing the customer journey, how they have to use, what payments they may be required. It is your money in my bank. How can I say that I operate Monday to Friday and that to 8 to 7 or 8 to 5, and in between 2 hours of lunch break, you come and you take your money whenever I am free? That's not what its banking is of today. So that is where the participation and contextualization is very important for our customers. And we work on that in various ways, understanding the businesses, understanding how do we collaborate and what we have to collaborate with and what actually brings the customers a benefit, what they are looking for. Then we have something in Singapore, which we call it as PELA, law is a word which Singapore people use very much in a colloquial way, like how we use some of our linguistic features when we talk with people. So Payla is something which is a wallet, and it was built in providing the lifestyle services for them as a single app. It is a very well-known app in Singapore. Then we have the property and card and electricity cards and marketplaces where actually you can do your transactions very easily to complete your entire journey. Then, in order to educate, see, we need to really understand how we have to design our products. It's not just about who can be doing the banking with us. We need to ensure that there can be potential people, potential customers. We need to really ensure that they are also engaged with respect to the banking process and the saving process in their entire journey. So we are looking at the schools and the school ecosystem where we make sure that there are certain particular products which can be provided to the customer, to the end customers who are actually going to learn about banking, savings, and also the futuristic investors and the futuristic bankers. And in that particular thing, we have POSB Smart Buddy. What it does is actually it is a wearable device where the kids can actually see their balances and make their payments without touch. That means show their mobile and make their purchases. And as parents, we can see what purchases are being happening and how they are spending and what money can be transferred to their as a piggy bank or as their pocket money or something of that sort. All these things are actually providing some kind of a system for our customers who can be our potential next generation. They are the ones who will define the banking. They are the ones who will actually make banking much more experienced than what we see today. Now, how we do this all with respect to we are well known with this Gandalf thing which I was talking in the first couple of slides. You will see that the D where we are pioneered is with respect to the API platform. We are the pioneers in creating this kind of an API platform library, and around 600 plus live APIs are published. We are the ones who were able to do it in a real-time rapid, we call it as real-time APIs development with DBS. And this is a very classical example where we are trying to be the pioneers and also the front runners in making the open banking with respect to integrating, connecting, and various opportunities which we can provide by using these APIs by others. Now, as a bank, we are able to provide very good services to our customers. What is that which we will be doing by providing these APIs to the outside world? It's something which might come into our minds. There was one thing which we have to really understand in the banking. There are three parts. One is about how do I bring in the channels? The second one is how do I service the channels? And the third one is how do I orchestrate all these particular actions which are happening? So when I have this orchestration and the bank is taking care of this particular orchestration and then the security of the information which is flowing and how they are using this entire information, I can actually look at my front-end channels can be opened up with respect to more number of customers, more number of businesses. I can collaborate. For example, if you see the Big Basket example, which we have seen in the previous slide, Big Basket and the DBS can share the commonness with respect to the customer, okay, and then provide various facilities to the customer together. That is about the togetherness which we can bring in. Similarly, if I have to really produce something where actually the aggregation can happen, consider that I want to provide certain particular extra facilities to the customer as part of my aggregation products, I can do that with respect to open banking. Then with respect to orchestration, if you see the bottom layer and the encompassing thing with both these parameters, you will have the kind of providing the security for our customer, providing the kind of right information about the customer, and also ensuring the customer centricity is still with respect to the bank. So these kind of an API development and other things is what is the main thing for us in order to deliver. We talk in the language of APIs. We talk in the way in which we have to really deliver something to the digital platforms. We are enabling these particular things through the cloud. and we are actually looking at how do we take it to the next levels in providing much more greater facility to our partners and to our customers. Now, the journey will not be completed if we don't understand few of the things here with respect to the cloud, AI, ML, 5G, IoT, AR, VR, blockchain, and privacy engineering. These are all the things which we have to really look at in today's context. Especially cloud and AI, ML, we always talk with respect to many of the things which are happening in these areas. A lot of development and lot of work which has to happen in order to make sure that we understand the customer data, either for my AI or for my ML, and then we need to really understand how do I use cloud. Should I have a strategy of going with a single cloud or a private cloud or a public cloud or a multi-cloud strategy? All these things are the questions which the technologists in order to really understand. And also, when we are talking about all these parameters, it is not that the business is unaware of all these parameters. They are also part of this entire journey, and they also understand what we are trying to do, because their main thing is the privacy about my customer, and also how do I maintain, as a technologist and as a business person, how do we maintain the integrity of the data and also the customer data being highly secured. These parameters cannot be really forgotten or undermined. Then comes with the latest changes which we have to really bring in. The 5G is going to change the entire banking system once again, as a technology and also as a business process. The business processes, what we do today, are going to be different when we look at the 5G. Most of the things which we are really looking at is the kind of a KYC systems which we have to build in. How do we use it, and various things which we have to look at when it comes to 5G. And then IoTs and the augmented reality and the virtual reality concepts. IoT in the banking industry is going to be another kind of a disruptor. And similarly, the augmented reality and the virtual reality, or the mixed reality, or the extreme reality, any of these things will really come into picture when we have to change the bank. We recently, I was reading a paper. They are called as digital twins. All these particular, I can create a number of digital twins, and I can actually ensure that the same person with the same kind of a model which I would have generated with the AI ML can start working in various places. Consider the same kind of service has to be given to various customers, and a person has to be with the same attitude, and the kind of information has to interact. Then I can create some certain digital twins in order to provide a very similar kind of an access to the products and also service to the customer. Blockchain is the most important bit, either as a distributed ledger technology or otherwise blockchain as by itself. We are talking about a lot of things, either in India or abroad and anywhere. We are talking about the digital currency in a high way, and also the various changes which actually the governments are looking at in understanding the kind of cryptocurrencies as well as the use cases of the blockchain. Now we are into the blockchain. We have completed a couple of implementations with respect to blockchain. We are the ones who have done on providing certain particular specific services either to the farmers or to the trade industry in order to ensure that the blockchain technology can be implemented in a very useful way. And also we are looking at the digital technologies of the digital ledger technologies, DLTs, and also understand how do we take it into the real case scenarios. Now, the other bit is that when the cryptocurrencies come into existence, either they have to come into the government kind of a tenders with respect to currency, or otherwise into the kind of loyalty systems and other things which we are looking at. We are implementing those kind of use cases and exploring various opportunities. In all these things, the foundation is engineering. Without that, we will not be called as the most secure bank for the last 6 years. and we are really thriving with respect to how do we create such kind of an emphasis on providing right information about the customer and storing the information about the customer everywhere in all our systems, as well as wherever we see and however we see the customer data by various means. So if we see and encompass before I say thanks to all the people who are attending here, I would like to again take back to this particular slide and then see the way in which we will be working on, or we are working with respect to the technology and the business being together. We understand the kind of a culture which we have to build in, and we also understand the way in which we have to drive the kind of change which is required for today's generation and tomorrow's generation. We, with respect to our CEO, who actually interacts so closely with our team and also with every member of our organization, being open and honest, creates the kind of a value system with which we have to be decisive. We have to be taking pride of our value system to integrate our customers and as well as our technology journey through all these means. And with that, I have to say thanks to all of you for taking your time during the evening and participating in this particular discussion. And if there is a kind of a time for us to take few questions, I'm more than happy to take those questions and try to answer mine. Thank you very much.